Today, we begin our journey from the Kubuqi Desert, a place that people once didn't just call a desert, they called it a sea of death. Because here, life didn't just struggle, it slowly disappeared. Every year, nearly 500,000 acres of land were silently buried under sand. Fertile fields turned into desert right before people's eyes. Plants dried up and families were forced to abandon their homes. All around, waves of sand, burning winds, and a silence that felt like life itself was losing the battle to survive. But the most terrifying part? The desert wasn't stopping. It was expanding. This process has a name: desertification. When living, fertile land slowly transforms into barren desert. And Kubuqi was one of its most extreme examples. China tried everything: massive investments, tree planting campaigns, sand control stations, yet nothing seemed to work. The desert kept growing and it felt like a losing fight. Because deserts have a brutal nature, once they start expanding, stopping them is incredibly difficult. Then everything changed. A man named Wang Wenbiao stepped forward with an idea so unusual that people laughed at him. He invested his entire savings, took loans, and began what many called madness. With over 100 bulldozers and 300 workers, they worked 18 hours a day. They created small square grids on the sand using dry shrubs. Inside those grids, they planted willow trees, a special type of tree whose roots can go incredibly deep, even hundreds of feet, searching for water. But survival wasn't easy. The desert winds were so strong that they would blow away sand, and with it, any remaining moisture. The young trees often died before they could grow. So Wang adapted. He surrounded the trees with shrubs to block the wind and trap moisture. A small idea, but it sparked a big change. At first, people kept laughing. This man is crazy, planting trees in a desert. But he didn't stop. Day after day, year after year, slowly some trees survived. Their roots reached deeper. The sand began to settle. It felt like the impossible might actually become possible. Then came another challenge: maintaining the trees. New branches had to be trimmed regularly, or the trees wouldn't grow strong. But doing this manually across such a vast desert was nearly impossible. Too expensive, too slow. So who would do the job? That's when the story took an unexpected turn. The solution came from a small animal, the Rex rabbit. These rabbits are known as white gold because their fur is extremely soft and valuable. One rabbit skin could sell for around $30, while raising one cost only about $2. But that's not the real story. The real magic lies in their behavior. Rex rabbits love eating the tender new shoots of willow trees. As they ate those soft branches, the trees naturally grew stronger, thicker, and more stable. In other words, the rabbits were doing the pruning work automatically, and there's more. Their waste acted as a powerful natural fertilizer, bringing life back into the dry, dead soil. Even more interesting, the grass seeds they ate weren't fully digested. Those seeds returned to the soil and began to grow. Soon, grass started appearing where there was once only sand. A cycle was born. Nature and animals began working together. Gradually, the sand stopped moving. Moisture stayed in the soil. Winds lost their power. And within a few years, the once dead desert started turning green. But the transformation didn't stop with nature. It changed human lives too. Local people were encouraged to raise rabbits. Small farms emerged in every household. Rabbit fur became a source of income. Trees provided raw materials. People who once fled the desert began returning home. Over time, large parts of the Kubuqi Desert turned green. But Wang still didn't stop. In the middle of the desert, he built a massive solar power plant, 196,000 panels arranged in the shape of a running horse. It generates 2.3 billion kilowatt-hours of electricity per year, enough for about 400,000 people. And here's the twist: these solar panels don't just produce energy, They reduce wind speed by up to 50% and create shade underneath, allowing grass to grow. That grass feeds animals like rabbits, sheep, and ducks. A new ecosystem was born, where technology and nature work together. Today, this model is no longer limited to China. Countries in Spain, Africa, and the Middle East are starting to adopt similar methods. And the biggest lesson from this story? People may laugh at your ideas, but that doesn't mean you stop, because almost every great success story started with people laughing first. Now, the decision is yours.